This video is sponsored by Squarespace. What if everything you thought you knew about happiness was wrong? And what if everything that you're trying to do to get there is bouncing right back in your big stupid face? I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me. I'm definitely projecting. Let me explain. So, as you guys know, for the past 10, maybe 12 years, I've been on this journey of self-development, self-growth, self-discovery, whole lot of self-help, all the fun stuff that I talk about on this channel. You know my motto, just keep trying to do better. And that is a path that I am still on to this day. It's one that I'm still dedicated to. But I was recently hit with a little bit of inspiration that got me to think about my path through a different lens. And that inspiration came out of all places from an Instagram post. The post talked about this idea called the backwards law from British writer and philosopher Alan Watts. You may have heard Alan Watts' voice at the beginning of hip-hop tracks or as the voice underneath inspirational YouTube videos.
I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream at night any dream you wanted to dream. You could design for yourself what would be the most ecstatic life.
Now, I know most of us can't contain ourselves when we hear a British accent, especially when it's coupled with an epic post-rock soundtrack under some generic B-roll, but there's real substance to what this guy's saying in his lectures and his books, and especially that idea that I came across on an Instagram post not that long ago. So what's the backwards law, and what can it tell us about happiness? How about we start with a quote from Alan Watts' book, The Wisdom of Insecurity. He says, "When you try to stay on the surface of water, you sink. But when you try to sink, you float. When you hold your breath, you lose it," which immediately calls to mind an ancient and much neglected saying, "Whosoever would save his soul shall lose it." You can apply that same thinking to our pursuit of happiness. The more we think about the things we don't have, the more we remind ourselves that we don't have them. The more we chase happiness, the more we remind ourselves that we aren't. We're stuck in a paradox. The more energy we exert, the less we feel like we have these things. And when we constantly tell ourselves that same story of poor old me, the poorer and older we'll feel. We've been conditioned to believe that happiness is a destination, a place that we'll arrive at once we've checked off all the boxes of our ideal life. And so we're always on the pursuit. We're always on the hunt. We're chasing all the things we think we need. A job promotion, a significant other, a house, a Black Friday deal, donuts. Donuts are definitely non-negotiable. Like, if you're just gonna sit there and tell me that donuts aren't gonna make you happy, I'm calling bullshit. You're gluten intolerant? Okay. Most of our time is spent in the purgatory of not having, because that moment we do get the thing that we've always wanted, there's only a fleeting moment of gratification. Maybe it's a few days, a few weeks, months if you're lucky, but that feeling goes away and you spend far more time wanting things. When you think about it, these days most of these activities require hours of scrolling or thumb flicking. So we sit behind our screen chasing happiness, whether on Tinder, Zillow, or Amazon, going from one desire to the next, always searching for that thing that will finally allow us to be happy. But what we often forget about happiness is, for those of us who are fortunate enough to have our basic needs met, we have more agency than we realize. We have a choice. The psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl famously wrote in his book Man's Search for Meaning, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." If this can be true of someone going through the worst horrors created by man, why can't it also be true of the little things that bother us, the traffic jams that frustrate us, or letting the fact that Kyle got a promotion ruin our day? Seriously, Kyle's a dick, but you don't have to let him get to you. In that same book, Frankl wrote something so strikingly close to Alan Watts' backwards law that it's worth quoting at length. He writes, "Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued, it must ensue. Happiness must happen, and the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. I want you to listen to what your conscience commands you to do, and go on and carry it out to the best of your knowledge. Then you will live to see that in the long run, I say, success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think about it." Before I go any further, I do want to thank my sponsor for this week's video, which is Squarespace. When my wife Natalie recently made the decision to leave her full-time job to start her company, she had two things at the top of her to-do list: create a name and build a website. I recommended using Squarespace, and in no time, kimchicreative.com was born. She found it crazy simple to customize and tweak her website to fit her message. She quickly added photos, adjusted copy, and created a newsletter to help promote her work.
So what I love about Squarespace is how it empowers me as the user to creatively design it and customize it, so it's a site that really truly feels like me.
If you need to build a website, go to squarespace.com for a free trial. Then, when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/MattDiavella to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I am so proud of Nat for taking this leap. You have no idea. She overcame so much doubt and fear to get to this point. So the fact that she's built this website, built this company, is a really huge milestone for her. So if you got the time, go check out her website, give her a big digital hug for me. And if you happen to need a brand consultant, I know that I am biased, but I think she is phenomenally talented, incredibly intelligent. And I think that if you need her services, she can certainly help you out a lot. Congrats, Nat. So the question is, what can we do to change course? How do we prevent ourselves from going down this path of constantly wanting more, constantly chasing after happiness to our own detriment? And the resolution comes through practicing two things on a regular basis: gratitude and acceptance. Gratitude is what happens when you slow down enough to be thankful for the life you have. As the artist Asher Roth once said, happiness isn't about getting what you want all the time, it's about loving what you have. When you take a few minutes each day to create the space to feel deep gratitude for the things that you have, you can transform your life. You're no longer looking to the future for happiness. You're feeling it right there in the moment. There are a number of tools that can help you, from journaling to doing short 10-minute meditations each day. Another way to change our mindset is to practice acceptance. To accept the things in our life that aren't going as planned, especially the times that feel shitty, that feel horrible, that feel like the whole world is out to get us. These are the moments where we need to practice patience and accept the fact that things really aren't quite what we want them to be, but if we fight it, they're going to be even worse. When we accept, we can start to let go of the past and focus on a present that is much more fulfilling. Here's an experiment for you to try over the next week. Wear a rubber band on your wrist, and anytime you feel yourself thinking a negative thought or getting frustrated over things that are out of control in your life, pull back that rubber band and give it a little snap. This can help you become more mindful of the times you're not practicing patience. It can help you to stop yourself from going down a negative spiral of emotions. You'll literally snap yourself back to reality. At the core, what we're trying to do is bring some stillness into our days, where there would be otherwise just pure chaos inside of our minds. Speaking for myself, I know that I wouldn't be happy if I didn't focus on self-growth and self-development and doing one thing every 3 months that just absolutely scared the shit out of me. But this takes practice to make sure that my personal ambition doesn't get in the way of my own happiness. It's easy to lose sight of these ideas. One-time revelations can be forgotten as we get swept up in a cascade of messages, social influences, and Tinder dates. We forget these brilliant, life-changing realizations. So this idea, it might not be new to you. This might be something that you've heard before. But if you're anything like me, it bears repeating. So I guess just watch this video again and again until it just like sticks to your brain like glue. Or you can read Man's Search for Meaning, or you can check out Alan Watts on YouTube. Both of them are tremendous resources for this idea, because no matter what, there's one takeaway from this video, I want you to constantly remind yourself that you have enough and you are enough. Thanks for watching.